And touching on the theme of otherness, I know you mentioned in your presentation that you are a part of the LGBTQ community, and also being a woman of color as well is definitely like showing up in your own work. So I was wondering if you could touch a little bit more on like your journey coming to terms with both of those identities and potentially like some advice for other people who are trying to navigate how their own lenses can allow them to contribute something really meaningful to the world too.
That's a great question. And I think that I view it as a blessing to have multiple lenses with which I can and do see the world. I think that as time goes on, our perspectives as a human species are going to evolve to the place where we recognize the importance of having that diversities of perspectives, because that's how we can best problem solve. That's how we can best bring new ways of looking to our existing challenges. Of course, it's challenging to be part of those the minorities, and I put that in quotations because often, we're viewed as minorities when in fact we are the majority. People of color are without a doubt the majority in the world, and yet we're still labeled as minorities. But nonetheless, I think it's important to recognize that our voices are not often prioritized when decisions are made, especially financial decisions such as whose film to fund or which book to put advertising dollars behind. But on the other hand, that allows us more freedom, because when you have a lot of resources, or when you're doing a blockbuster film, there are a lot of people trying to restrict or shape the narrative according to what they think the audience wants. And with digital storytelling, why it's so exciting is each of us can create stories that are important to us without worrying as much about the commercial aspects of it, and hopefully finding a broad audience that way. I don't know if I answered your question, but okay,
No,
good.
100%. Now, I feel like that's something really important that, especially growing up in the generation with the internet, that we've come to see, because even with COVID, for instance, like a lot of our organizations have transitioned to doing work and organizing and mobilizing online, which wouldn't have been possible otherwise if we had to go through like more anchored or institutional measures. So I think what you bring up about like the freedom that being in this digital world allows us to have is like definitely resonating with me personally.
Super. Well, one more thing I could throw in there too is that for me personally, I come from a multiracial family, and so I grew up in India. But my stepfather was Jamaican American, Jamaican Canadian actually, and so all these different frames of reference can often feel cause a sense of internal conflict, because there's different ways of doing things. You don't want to offend people that are from different parts of your family. And so I think that that's something we don't think about a lot, that kind of hybridity and the complexities that brings. But it also, again, provides other opportunities to see things differently, and having that outsider view can help us to recognize things that others might not.